Jenna! Hey, Jenna! Hey, Jada! Hey, Comic Rook! Hey, Fiza! Yeah, you were right, Jenna. Hey, Elijah. Hey, Mar. Hey, Baxter. Hey, Mark. Hey, Maggie. Sat here thinking too much? I've got an echo. Give me a second.
Is this better? The echo better? Can everybody hear me still? Alright, everybody can still hear me? Alright. Okay, good. Yeah, what happened is the other night. Come on. Very excited. The other night, I was trying to figure out how to. I was actually on I was going back and forth. Like right now, I'm using Streamlabs. Is the program I'm using now. I also have OBS, and I was trying to figure out how to record myself playing Final Fantasy. So I was trying to figure out, like, I was trying to get it so that, like, I could record it properly, and for not sure why, but I was having a hell of a time trying different things. Turned out I'd actually sort of misunderstood how my headset worked. Frankly, I don't even have my headset. Actually, honestly, my headset's not even turned on right now, basically. Emulator? No, Comprock, on Steam. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster through Steam. So I did pay for it. I will not play any games on stream that I have not paid for. I'll just say that now. Any game that I play, I have paid for it. Already hitting a depression? Yeah. Been there. In fact, all the games that I'm playing are on Steam. So this game, Our Life, is on Steam. This game right here, this is on Steam. And hey Steph, hey Google user. See better? Not really Google user. Masking better, but nah, still depressed. Sometimes I wear my headphones to that list. Yeah, for right now, I've got it just. I suspect the headphones do probably make a bit of a difference in terms of the game volume. Okay, J-Dot, no worries. Just download the drug mod today. So now my Sims are... So your Sims are now doing drugs? Drugs are bad. Okay. Anyways, yeah. When I was trying to set up Final Fantasy to be able to record it, I was like turning turning my like various audio capture options on, and I did make one real discovery. So, right here, there's a button right here on the headset. I assumed that this meant that volume on, pushed in. I assumed meant mute. Turns out I was completely wrong. I had it completely backwards. So, yeah, like half an hour of. So yeah, the other night I spent like half an hour fiddling with options between Streamlabs and OBS, trying to figure out how to get my headset working. Specifically the mic. How to get the mic on my headset working. Turns out if I just had a pair of fucking instructions. Yeah. If I just had a pair of fucking instructions for it, would have made things so much easier. Alright, Casey. I know you want treats, but... throw out all instructions. Instruction menu. I'm not even sure if these came with instructions, honestly. Like, I don't actually know if this headset came with a pair of instructions. $16,000 steps. Oof. People with mullets don't need instructions. It's not a mullet. Alright, Casey, if you're not going to stay up, I'm not going to let you up. No, Casey. You're not staying up. So, you just get down immediately, so tough luck. Hey, Frida. Want to stick around, but I hate this game, so I'm just going to say, fair enough, Frida, fair enough. The Harry and Meghan documentary. Hey, llama. I had chicken fingers for dinner. Cleaned your bathroom and changed the kitty litter box and avoided a date. His name's Baxter, Nirvana. His name's Baxter. Hey, Mark. It's like real life. Happiness is DLC. Ouch. Whole concept of Harry being the spare. Comprick, my guess is that is not how it was intended. Like, I would guess that Charles and especially Diana, I'm guessing that they did not have a second child as a spare. Like, I don't think that was sort of their concern. But it's traditionally is. Jenna? I think I remember hearing about that, and yeah, that's weird. Hey, Nicole. I am playing Our Life Beginnings and Always. Said that people told him from since he was born that he was the spare. Yeah, because being a royal is fucked up. Abolish the monarchy. I am all in favor of abolishing the monarchy. Hey, Michaela. Magic mushrooms, cool. Alright, 10 minutes in. We may as well, 31 viewers. 30 odd viewers. May as well get started. Alright, let's do hang. You grabbed a large beach towel from off your bed and stuffed it into a bag. You had already packed your water bottle for your upcoming beach hangout session. Don't have anything better to do? Fair enough. Clean the litter box. I need to get a little bit more litter to top off the box. A couple more weeks before it needs to be cleaned. New guitar and picking out names for it. The stars had aligned, and somehow everyone was free today. Miranda had set things up with several bubbly phone calls between you, Cove, and Terry to find a time to hit the beach. You were hoping that this would be a fun time together. Cove sat on your windowsill and kicked one of his legs into the air idly. He already had his swimsuit on, and his towel was bundled under his arm in a misshapen ball. Hi, Thea. For the ladies. Just giving you ladies a bit of a show here. He'd shown up earlier that morning with a surprising amount of enthusiasm. He was chatting as you caught up to his preparation. But seriously, I couldn't find my swimsuit this morning. I looked everywhere. It had disappeared. I had no idea what I was going to do. What happened to all your other swimsuits? I know that's not your only one. Cove looked away and shrugged. I might have some laundry to do. Anyways, I don't know why it was in the bathroom when I never put it there. He gave a small smile and readjusted the towel in his arms. You know, could see that it had been folded at some point, but then rolled up and carried without much care. Hey, Icky.
I'm so glad.
But I'm just glad I found it. It would have been crappy to lose my favorite trunks. It was nice to see Cove so happy and comfortable in what he was wearing. You walked over to your dresser amused about how you had picked out your own swimsuit. Luckily, since you were average height, you only needed to worry about finding the right size. When it came to the shape of your body... Months at this one? It's a long game, Icky. You need a daddy comic book? Fair enough, Nicole. Curves or slender? Curvy, slender. Curvy, slender. Curvy or slender? Does everyone think? Curvy or slender? Speedrun it? Well, sure, but that misses the point. One vote for slender, one vote for curvy. Curve. Fatty. Curvy. Curvy. Yes, Icky. They have just... In fact, they have actually just graduated high school. The characters have just graduated high school. You had curves. And... what are you thinking? Little muscle definition? Or soft? They are now all 18. They're all 18 now. So everyone we see in this chapter will be over 18, so don't worry. Got my boss's handyman watching porn on boss wife's computer, starting at 6 a.m. every day. They were out of town. Number one search result of his was big fat hairy pussy. Nice. Zomphy, hi my sweet, hope you're well. Thank you very much, Zomphy. Old rich man with a yacht. Thank you for the super chat, Zomphy. Alright, little muscle definition. Your build was toned and firm, with muscles that were there, though slight in size. You had gained more muscle in recent years. It was clear when compared to how you were when you were younger.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about some things. What things? Not yet, I like bugs, not yet. Just myself and my body, really. His eyebrow rose at your admission of self-reflection. And what do you think? What did you think of who you were? You considered your identity further. What size pussy am I going to purchase at the doctor's office? You knew for sure that you were non-binary. Yes, you had no questions about that part. And... BBWs? I mean, the main character can be a BBW. Other than that, I don't think so. So yeah, you can, in fact, yeah, this game does try to be very, very trans-inclusive. They actually put a lot of effort. As you can see, they did put quite a bit of thought into making this game trans-inclusive. Your breasts were not exactly small, but not huge either. They were medium, you supposed. My mom might be calling. We talk 2 times a day. Cool. Still don't know the definition of non-binary. It's a spectrum. Basically, it's somebody who doesn't identify as a guy or a girl. They're not a lad or a lass. You liked the size you had. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. You were comfortable in yours. Your body was you, and it was a good one that you felt content in. You'd pretty much always felt good in your body. It was that way through your main growing years, and now that you're an adult, you didn't see that changing anytime soon. You focused on Cove again. He smiled at you and tilted his head, a question still in his eyes. He was waiting for you to come to an answer. But before you could, you had something to say to him. I like my girls with fat with a huge she-cock. Good to know, Frida. What do you think? Ask what he thinks about me, or just you like? What do you think about me? Trap question. Ask the trap question. About how I look, I mean. Cove smirked a little, his eyes taking you in easily. Fishing for compliments, Jamie? You look great. Everyone knows that, including you, by the way. Unless that's changed? Compbrick? I have no idea. I mean, romantic. It does get romantic. Compbrick, I'm just not sure. Like, I'm not sure how much you see. So what if I wanted you to compliment me? You still should. I'm waiting. I said you look great. Cove shook his head. His hand went up to try to unsubtly cover his smile. I was kind of worried you were so in your own head because something was wrong. Guess not. I'm glad.
Hey.
Hey, Jamie. Cove gave a bent smile, pointing to your arms. You're looking particularly toned today. It's... He answered not with words, but a solid okay sign with both hands and the same cheeky smile. Cove suddenly flushed when he realized how boldly he complimented you. He stood by it, even if he was a little red. You were a little taken aback. That came out of nowhere. You glanced at yourself. Bosom? Belly, the main character, the protagonist. Like the player character that we're playing. Name is Jamie. They are non-binary. We're playing a non-binary character. Because that's what I chose. You like that? Yeah. You flirtatiously stretched. You fluttered your eyelashes and slowly stretched your arms out in front of you, towards him. Your sleeve fell down, but instead of fixing it, you let it stay that way. You looked Cove straight in the eye as you openly displayed your arms. He cracked a huge smile. Jamie, this is too much for me to witness. Cove hopped up from his seat and fluttered his hands in front of you, gesturing for the display to stop, laughing the whole while. You thought on some level he might not have been fully kidding around with that. He was flustered. You gave the poor guy a break and put the goods back down. He exaggeratedly wiped his brow and let himself fall back into place on the windowsill. Finally, you felt that was enough of that topic for one day. You went back to your original goal before you got sidetracked. You needed to pick what you wanted to wear to the beach. Eh. I'm sure you'll find one, Jenna. One piece or two piece? Also, what is a tankini? Oh, like a tank top. Tankini instead of tankini. Speedo? No, not a Speedo. One Piece it is. Since people aren't voting, going with a One Piece. While you dug around in your drawers, you tried to think if there was anything else you were missing. Sunglasses, of course. Whoops. Yeah, just sunglasses, I guess. With that taken care of, you held your outfit together and looked at Cove. He was tapping his toes on the side of the walls as he waited. You vaguely wondered if he thought that was a comfortable place to sit. You hoped so, given how long he'd perched on it. Regardless, it was time for him to go. You weren't going to put on your beachwear with him just chilling there. I need to change. Cove smiled, content with being kicked out. Alright. Cove lowered himself off the window and strolled past you to get to the door. He lightly brushed his fingers against your cheek when he passed by.
Bye.
I'll see you out front. Okay. When you were alone, you got undressed and put your swimwear on. You also checked your beach bag for the final time, and it seemed like you hadn't forgotten anything. You left your room and hurried down the stairs, ready to meet Cove. You made sure to lock your front door and walked outside. Cove stood in the road, looking down and scuffing his feet on the asphalt. When you shut your heavy door, he looked at you and smiled. Hey! Hi. Miranda and Terry are going to be here in not too long. Terry even texted me earlier saying she was mostly on schedule.
Well,
why don't we just head to the beach and wait for them there? We're both ready. That sounded like a good idea to you. You said as much, and Cove shot off a quick text telling the two of them where he'd be. Cove gave you a thumbs up after the message sent. It was a familiar path to walk, and it wasn't long until you reached the shore. Cove laid out his towel on the warm sand. You set up your stuff beside him and looked out into the ocean. The rolling swells hit the shore rhythmically. You all had lucked out. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear and the waves were good. It was a balmy summer day, but with a pleasant breeze to keep things comfortable. Essentially, it was perfect.
so?
Do you feel like heading into the water? Maybe just walk down the shore? Or would you want to do something here? Either way is fine. What would you want to do? Maybe walk a little, at first anyway. We can do that then. Cove nodded, accepting of the plan. He kicked some sand off his towel absent-mindedly. Yeah, sounds nice. You took a deep breath and tasted the relaxing salty air. Cove caught your eye and gave you a small smile. You chatted a little before a comfortable quiet settled over the two of you, content to watch the waves as you waited for the others. Luckily, it didn't take long until you heard shouts. You turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. You shouted a greeting. How's it going? The two officially arrived at Cove since your setup, looking completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and raring to go. Hey, Cove. Hey, Terry, Miranda. Welcome to our beach.
Hey!
Hello, hello. She beamed, and Miranda nodded with a smile.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I am so pumped. Yeah, I'm really glad this worked out. What game is this? Hey, I'm just saying. This is Our Life, Beginnings and Always. What have you guys been up to over here? What have you guys been up to over here in your town? Cove? Jamie? Have we missed things? Cove blinked and then shrugged when nothing he wanted to mention came to mind. You gave her a recap on how your family was doing. Your moms were the same as ever for the most part, although they were definitely still adjusting to you being an adult now. Liz had asked you to take pictures of her latest makeup look the other day. There was nothing too dramatic going on right now. Terry nodded along and mentioned a couple things about her own parents. Miranda brought up her family and shared some of the wild things her older brother had done. Terry then started talking about her morning and how she'd almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. You know I ran on less back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. She'd met up with Terry on the way here, and you knew the rest. Cove offered a suggestion to the girls. Hey, let's walk while we catch up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Once everyone's stuff was settled on the beach, your group strolled over to the shoreline. The wet sand was cool under your feet.
Okay.
Whoops. A wave rushed up and covered your ankles in water. You flinched from the suddenness of it, but by the next wave you were acclimated. You took another step forward and sank a little into the ground. Behind you, your footprints were soon smoothed by the waves. It could work gracefully. Nope, too late. Your friends chatted as you all walked together. You took turns pointing out cool shells or pieces of sea glass. It was a relaxing jaunt. Hours passed, and the group had moved between different activities, some low-key, and some more exhaustive. What's that shirt? It's my Dazzler t-shirt. For you, it was another break time. You sat on your towel and sipped at some water. Your friends were hard at work burying Terry's full body under a pile. Miranda used her arms to force up sand around Terry's sides. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. You took another drink and closed your eyes. Eventually, a shadow passed over you, dampening the light that was still notable even behind your eyelids. You checked to see Cove had joined you there. He knelt down to dig around in a pile of assorted beach stuff in the middle of everyone's towel setup and pulled out the sunscreen. He took a seat next to you on his towel. He opened the bottle with a soft pop and began to reapply the cream. Hey. Hey. He ran his hands across his chest to work the sunscreen in, and you might have checked him out a little from the corner of your eye, while still sipping some water. Want me to get your back? Oh, I'd like that. Okay, I'll do it. Thanks. You scooted up behind your boyfriend and reached her hand around his front so he could squeeze a small pile of sunscreen into your hand. Good nipples? You rubbed your palms together, spreading the cream out more evenly, then began applying it softly to his shoulder blades. From there, you move to the tops of his shoulders, the nape of his neck, and down his spine. Cove was mumbling the entire time, but you couldn't make out what he said. He might not have even realized he was doing it himself. The tone of his voice and the look on his face got the message across just fine, however. He was happy. You were too. After he and you finished up, Cove let out a comfortable sigh and looked off into the distance. But then he sighed again, this time in an exaggeratedly disappointed way. You wondered if he was going to sigh again, even more dramatically, if he didn't say anything. Nape is likely. Nape is fine. Oh, Cove, whatever it is, I'm sure it's gonna be okay, you joked. After all, this is an excellent place to hide a body. You gestured to Terry, who was practically just a hill of sand with a human head at this point. That got a quick chuckle out of him, but he quickly hid his amusement. Cove shook his head, comically despondent. His frown didn't match the sparkle in his eyes.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just becoming another jaded adult, that's all. Now you were really confused. You waited for him to continue, and his next sigh did not disappoint. It was the most ridiculously sad sigh you had ever heard. Then he smiled a little. Mermaids aren't real. What? That had not been what you were expecting. He continued. You know how much I liked mermaids as a kid. Well, merfolk as a whole. I really hoped that they were out there.
I mean...
The ocean's a big place, right? They could be somewhere. But the older I got, the more I had to accept it. They were just a fairy tale. He jerked his head over to the waterline and the rolling waves. They crashed against the shore and then drew back. This is a perfect beach for them. It's pretty and vast and never too crowded. If merfolk did exist, we definitely would have met one by now. Or at least we would have heard of someone else seeing one. But nothing. He acted as though that result was a true bafflement. He let his head hang. I gotta let the dream go. That's hardly proof. It's not like this is the only beach in the world. They could still exist. As you said, the ocean is a big place. Cove chuckled a little to himself, eyes tilted off into the sea, his face still low. Maybe it's for the best. Let's say a merperson did happen to wash up on shore one day. He looked at you with a faux doleful expression. I could have lost my partner to their magical underwater world. Oh yeah, I'd totally go live under the sea with the merfolk. Cove smirked triumphantly. I knew it. But I can't blame you. If a beautiful, kind merperson falls for somebody, I'm pretty positive that the sensible response isn't to turn around and say, no thanks, I'm gonna stay on land with a normal guy. The merpussy? Are you warning me that you'd leave if you got that kind of offer? You don't want me to be blindsided when you ditch me for a mer creature, if they're real. No, that isn't what I'm trying to say. I'm not the one who'd have to deal with that, you know. It isn't the same kind of thing. If a merperson did magically appear, there's no chance it'd be me they'd call for. The more Cove spoke, the more it sounded like he could be merfolk himself. He was choking on air, a fish out of water. I mean, you're the one who's charming and talented. Can't, Frida. He has green hair. He barely eked the last words out. There isn't anyone who wouldn't choose you. Oh. You were completely flattered by how highly he thought of you. And then you heard Miranda screech. Your attention immediately switched over to your friends. Ugh. You saw that Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. The walls Miranda had been meticulously building collapsed into a wet heap of sand. She surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna have to start over on that part. Do you just want to give up on this now?
No way.
The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. Okay, if you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot her a thumbs up. She realized too late that moving her arm was a bad idea. More of the sand on her crumbled, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Cove caught your eye and started to drag himself up. Seems like we're needed. You agreed and followed him over to the girls. Miranda nodded at you both with appreciation, and the three of you did your best to finish the job. You all worked out a system of using just enough wet sand to help hold the rest together. With 3 people, it didn't take long for Terry to be entombed. Terry grinned massively, and Miranda offered high fives. The pile was officially done. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Sorry, if they're gonna put it in all caps, I kind of have to say, "Oh yeah!" The cream will always rise to the top, and I am the cream of the crop. Oh yeah, Miss Elizabeth. Oh yeah. Mean Gene, ooh, yeah. Okay, that was kind of hard on the throat. That was honestly actually kind of hard on the throat there. Resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand went flying in all directions, and a Terry-shaped imprint was left behind. Oh, so she was doing Kool-Aid Man. Miranda yelled again, and Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. The 4 of you continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest, while you found the most colorful. Cove caught a tiny crab. You did a bit of everything. There were impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. However, after a while, you all had ran out of water. Drinkable water, anyway. Oh yeah, I loved WWF when I was a kid. Hey, Harlem. And hi, Scapegoat. It was decided that you'd head to your or Cove's house. Things were gathered, and you started to cheerfully walk up the road. What next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same. I guess we can keep hanging out. How long can I last? I don't know. It's been a while, Frida. WWF? World Wrestling Federation boozing. It's WWE now. When I was a kid, it was still the WWF. And then it became the WWE. Terry snorted and readjusted her grip on her things. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you could see her house. It hadn't taken you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? She looked from face to face in inspection. Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. No one was overtly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. Miranda put a finger to her lip and thought. With a smile, her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and then shot Miranda a thumbs up.
Sure.
Sounds great to me. I can definitely go for that. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, World Wildlife Fund, I think. But there's nothing sweet at my house. Your friends glanced at Cove and his place. He shook his head immediately. Dad doesn't have anything good either. I mean, unless you want dessert-flavored protein shakes. Ew, no! She cut it and held her hands up as if trying to ward off something evil. Cove smirked.
Not bad.
It's not that bad.
Nope.
Well,
There has to be some kind of sweet shop around here. Let's look it up. Terry nodded and started to dig around in her bag. I like the way you think. Terry continued to rummage in her bag and grew increasingly frustrated. She puffed out her cheeks and knelt down, setting the bag on the ground. With both hands free, she was finally able to fish out her phone. She raised it up in triumph for a brief moment of celebration.
I'm on it.
I'll search for something good. Terry got back onto her feet, hefting the bag over one arm, tapping away at her screen in the other. But she assessed Cove from top to bottom. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Cove glanced out at his bare chest and feet, having not even registered it prior. He chuckled a little. I'll grab something. My jobber? You know it. Cove moved over to his house. You look towards yours. You waited outside with the girls. You watched Cove disappear into his house. Terry was deep in the midst of scrolling through food options. You shuffled over to where you could see, and Miranda did the same. There's ice cream. People love ice cream, especially around here. I don't really feel like ice cream.
Uh-huh.
Cool, because I don't either. She flicked her finger up and another ice cream place showed up. Melty Moo Moo's frozen treats with an unfortunate cartoon mascot. That is a choice to name a place. Melty Moo Moo. Screams but not for ice cream. I like ice cream, it's just not for today. There has to be something else. You thought on it and Terry kept scrolling. You heard a door open and Cove reappeared. You were about to be surprised at how quick he was, but then noticed he'd just thrown on a t-shirt over his swim trunks and slipped a pair of sandals on. Of course. Hey. Everyone else exchanged their respective greetings and then looked back at Terry's phone. Terry scrolled further and then made an interested exclamation. Oh, what about this place? They sell crepes. That's something you don't see every day. Look how fancy they are. TMI discussion Wednesdays. Most of my chats get into TMI information, Google user. She shoved her phone into your face. It seemed like a cute shop. It didn't show any pictures of the actual building, but the food seemed good. It was one of those places that put a lot of effort into presentation, with branded wrapping for the crepes and well-applied toppings.
Huh.
Weird. I've never heard of it. I haven't either. Mysterious. But crepes are so good. Don't think you could watch porn with your partner? She nodded her approval as Terry admired more of the photos. I'd go. It's not too far, but we could drive. Terry cheered at the success of a plan made, and you all walked around to Cove's car. He had to run inside once more to grab his keys. You wrote "Wash Me" in the dirt on his car. You noticed a thin coat of sand and dust on Cove's car. It had probably been a while since he'd washed it. With a smirk, you carefully wrote "Wash Me" with your finger.
Very nifty.
Good work. I wonder if he's even gonna notice. The car beeped and unlocked. Cove ran up to you with his car keys in hand. His hair slipped into his face and he brushed it back. Shotgun! She clambered into the passenger seat without hesitation. You didn't argue and climbed into the back with Miranda. Terry activated the directions on her phone map and acted as their navigator, directing Cove to the crepes. Hey, Killface. The GPS tried to get Cove to turn into a non-existent road once, and wanted him to do a U-turn instead of just using a left turn, but with Terry looking at the actual path, it went smooth enough. You were led to a small stall in a parking lot, rather than a full building. That explained why there hadn't been any pictures of the crepery's interior, and why it was new to you despite living in this town your entire life. It was a completely new structure that popped up recently. There was a window you could walk up to, and one for cars to drive up to. Cove parked with a laugh.
Come on.
I don't think I needed to put a shirt on for this, but I still want to try it. Let's go.
What?
Do you not trust us to eat in your car? She gestured to the drive-thru option. Cove shook his head with a snort. I trust some people in here, maybe, but wouldn't it be more fun to actually check it out? Everyone acknowledged his point and piled out. Terry tried to tease Cove a little, but Miranda started talking about the last time she had crepes. Apparently they'd been a dessert explosion, topped with multiple sauces, powdered sugar, and what Miranda was pretty sure had to be cake icing. That's sweet.
So great.
Literally. It was so good, but I regretted it so much. I couldn't finish it, and I really tried. You can do it this time, Randy. There were some laughs. When you got up to the menu, you realized that there were more than just crepes. There were definitely crepes. Mini crepes. However, the stall also had a lot of different drinks as well. Teas, smoothies, milkshakes. How old are the characters? 18, Frida. The characters are 18. They had just graduated high school. Got a hot sandwich from the Whole Foods, and there was a huge-ass bug in it. Ew.
Woo!
Jackpot! She grinned and held out her fist for a fist bump. Miranda high-fived it. The two stared at the awkward, vaguely turkey-shaped hand configuration they had made, and then slowly put their hands down. Cove's mouth twitched in a smile. You stepped up to order first. You glanced back at the menu. Oh, you okay there, Casey? Casey jumped from, so like on my desk I've got like a little thing where I'd put a tower, if I had a tower, desktop, PC tower. So there's like a little like a lower bit, and Casey was on there, and she tried to jump over to my footrest, and stumbled a little bit when she got on it. So, but she's fine. She's stupid, but she's doing okay still. Awkward ass kitty, but I am not taking my shirt off. I don't like sexualizing anyone under 20, feels weird to me. Kind of agree, Frida. being essentially... Since I am essentially 38, yeah. Under 20 just feels like... Oh, shit. Under 25 still feels like a child to me. At this point. But under 20 especially. My birthday? Yeah, just a couple weeks. Anyway, I'm gonna refill my water. Give me a minute. Pardon me, ugly. No. Cosmo is a cute name. Anyway, suppose a crepe and a drink. Hello, I'd like to get a crepe and a drink, please. There was a woman who looked a little older than you taking the orders. She smiled back at you, ready to hear the specifics of your purchase. For the crepe itself, you wanted strawberry. For the fillings and toppings, you picked strawberries, mixed berries, banana slices, powdered sugar, yeah, that's all. After you picked the size, you were asked what you wanted to drink. You ordered strawberry smoothie. Right? Strawberry smoothie. It's me we're talking about. Gotta be a strawberry smoothie. You could also add a mix in or toppings for the drink. And nothing extra on the drink. You paid and stepped aside to let your friends order. Cove got a lemon crepe with powdered sugar on top and the mixed berries. He also got a plain strawberry smoothie. Terry went crazy with toppings. Although she ordered a plain crepe, she had it smothered with whipped cream, cream cheese, chocolate chips, chocolate syrup, and bananas. Miranda opted for a frap with caramel syrup and condensed milk. The four of you stood off to the side as you waited for your treats. I heard what you ordered, Jamie. Glad I'm not the only one to go for a drink and a crepe. I couldn't pick just one, and why not? Exactly. It's gonna be good. Jamie, man, your crepe is gonna rock! High five for topping appreciation. She held out her hand expectantly. You fist bumped her palm. Terry stared at your hands. She blinked. She looked between Miranda and you. Is this just a thing now? I don't know what you mean. Miranda's voice was surprisingly serious, while her face looked like she was seconds away from laughing. Terry shook her head dramatically. Order for Jamie! Oh, I've got to get that. You grabbed your order. The others didn't take much time after that. With the goods collected, everyone admired their treats. Terry dug right into hers, and Miranda gave hers a tentative sip. Terry nodded acceptingly with her mouth completely full. Miranda tilted the frap over to her with a grin. Terry sipped it and clearly loved it. She raised her crepe over to Miranda. You could tell that there was an intent to make it look nice, but with all the assorted toppings piled on, only so much could be done. Miranda took a huge bite with gusto and sighed happily. Terry seemed satisfied and took another slurp of Miranda's drink. They had both only gotten one thing, probably because they knew they'd end up sharing. You offered to share your order with everyone. You held your order up a little, bringing it to attention. Your friends looked at you, curious. Anyone want some? Yes, dibs! You can't call dibs on someone else's food. Except that I did. Everyone can try it if they want. Thanks, that's so nice. Miranda took the first round and then, with a smirk, passed on your order to Cove instead of Terry. Aw, Randy, my dibs.
Sorry.
Sorry, you can't claim Jamie's stuff. Fine, I can wait for it. Chuckling, Cove seemed to greatly enjoy his taste, and didn't pass it on to Terry until he'd stopped chewing slowly. Finally, she accepted your order with gusto and took her taste.
Thank you.
It's so good. Thanks, Jamie. What? Actually, they're passing crepes around right now, Comic Brook. You gave your reply in between sips of Miranda's frap and munches of Cove's crepe. With that, Cove started to eat his treats in earnest. You saw him take a huge gulp of his smoothie and then without swallowing, he added a bite of his lemon crepe. His habit of mixing foods together wasn't anything new. He hummed in satisfaction, so you guessed he must have liked the combined flavor. Cove? Terry tore off a piece of her crepe and held it out to Cove.
So?
Care to make a trade? Sure. Emotional support. Wait, emotional support friend? What do you... That's rude, Boozen. That's so rude. Instead of continuing to loiter in the parking lot, the four of you started to walk down the sidewalk. There was a lot of sharing going on, with crepe bits and toppings being passed around. You wouldn't have been surprised if Terry ended up drinking more frap than Miranda did. He kept going down the way, eating, drinking, and chatting. On one particular square of concrete, you and Cove shared a private glance of amusement. You passed the markings immortalized in stone from 5 years ago. You hoped Derek was having fun out there somewhere too. Maybe he was hanging out with his brothers instead of spending all his time on planning and training. You hadn't realized just how far the group had wandered until you ended up at the now leaving sign. Apparently you were just about to walk right into the middle of nowhere. Terry took her mouth off Miranda's straw and stopped sipping the frap. Impossible! Preposterous! How are we already at the end? I always forget how tiny this town really is. Cove chuckled a little and swallowed a chunk of Terry's crepe.
I guess.
It kinda is, huh? It didn't feel that small when we were growing up. It definitely felt bigger then. There was a time when Sunset Bird had felt huge. Seemed as endless as the ocean. There was always some street you hadn't wandered down, something new for the tourists. But now, you had realized it was just a pond in this big, big world. Seeing the definite end only reinforced this. Here was the boundary that proved your hometown could be walked out of with ease. I guess this means we should probably head back. One doesn't just walk into nowhere land. We're not only one, Terry, there's 4 of us. Terry scrunched up her face, not wanting to acknowledge the bad joke. She decided to ignore it. Boozin'? Because they went for a walk. I'll pass, Zach. It stinks having to go all the way back. Yeah, but it's not like there's anything out that direction. And if we did keep going forward, it'd be an even longer trip home. You stared off into the stretch of road as Cove agreed that he didn't want to go out any further. Can we take a break here first before we turn around? We've been walking for a while and someone finished my drink. Right on cue, Terry loudly sucked air from the straw. It was so good. Miranda looked at her, but Terry remained unrepentant. In the end, though, it was agreed to hang around the sign before heading back to the car. Didn't take long to finish the rest of the food and drinks. Everyone gathered up the trash and stuffed it into bags and pockets for now. The group relaxed on the grass, keeping account of all the cars that drove past. It was not a high number. Mm. 14. The newest passing car drove into town from somewhere outside. But as the vehicle came by, it slowed down and you watched as it ultimately rolled to a complete stop. The black car parked right by the now leaving sign. Everyone exchanged a baffled look. But then the tinted window rolled down and the driver peered out. As soon as you saw his hair, you recognized him. No one else you knew presented themselves so distinctly. Hey, neighbors. Cove also jointed with recognition. He pasted on a cordial smile and waved politely. Afterwards, he put his mouth back over the straw of his long empty drink, as if trying to act cool. Hi! You inhaled and tried to be loud enough to account for the distance and car noises. It's nice to see you again. Somehow he was able to project his voice in such a way that it still sounded smooth, even though he was definitely speaking loudly. You wondered where he'd learned to do that. And you thought about the odd picture this made. A fancy black car pulled over to talk to a group of teens, mostly still in beachwear. Miranda was incredibly confused and shrank back to watch. Terry tilted her head in an unspoken question. Cove made a quick gesture pointing towards Baxter, and a light bulb went off for Terry.
All right.
Ah, that's the new person in the condo. The bee-man, right? Yeah, Baxter.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually see him. Her voice was quiet. Miranda usually got shy around new people. Terry was quite the opposite. Incredible! This is perfect! Terry hopped up from the grass and ran to Baxter's car, all full of excitement. Behind her, Miranda picked herself up and dusted imaginary dirt off her clothes. She sent a searching look to you and Cove, to which Cove shrugged. Miranda nodded and, with clenched fist, hesitantly followed Terry. Terry bent down to talk to Baxter through his window. She blasted through introductions, with Miranda putting in a shy wave. Cove looked at you. He still clearly had no intention of going over. I'ma talk to Baxter. Cove waited in the grass without another word. You joined the other two and stood next to Baxter's car. He smiled genially at you.
Nice to see you.
Jamie, it is very nice to see you once more. He gestured to Miranda and Terry. I just rented this car for my stay here and was coming back from a bit of sightseeing when I spotted your crowd. Then these two were kindly introducing themselves.
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's only polite. Speaking of polite, since you know us, you should give us a ride. Terry. Her voice was whispered, but her tone was clear. This was not Miranda approved. What? Then we won't have to walk back to the parking lot. I'll take care of it. Miranda bit her lip. Terry, clearly not seeing the problem, pointed at Miranda and turned back to Baxter. You wouldn't make a cute girl trudge down this empty road, right? Look at her. Baxter did. Miranda smiled uncomfortably, and he grinned playfully.
I can do that.
Of course not. Consider me at your service. Yes! She spun around and tried to wave Cove over. You could tell from his face that he was already alarmed. Get over here! Baxter's giving us a ride. You could make out his frown in the distance. However, he did start to drag himself out of the grass. Text only MS-DOS games with pictures. Yeah, it sounds about accurate. White VW Beetle with tan leather seats vibes, with Kylie Minogue playing at max volume. I mean, I assume you mean that as a compliment, Boozin. I assume you mean that as a compliment towards Baxter. You were just happy to get a ride. Regardless of anything else, you didn't have to walk back. That's what counted, and you were grateful to Terry for arranging it. Miranda looked down and put on a polite smile. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Terry did have a point. It would have been inconsiderate to abandon you here. And, after all, your company is a favor to me. Miranda laughed a little, and Terry slung an arm over Miranda's shoulder, with a big grin. Seeing their reactions, he made a point to search for yours, too. You rolled your eyes. Cove stepped up to the car, his expression now inscrutable. Hello. Hi. Alrighty, plan made. Let's hop in. You excitedly opened the passenger side door and buckled yourself in. The car was pristine, and you were right near the new car scented air freshener. Baxter had the air conditioner on cold, but low, so it was pleasantly cool inside. A nice relief from the summer sun you had been baking in all day. Domprick? Any interest? The funny thing is, Comprek, I kind of feel like they might have, like it could have benefited from a little bit editing down. Like, I feel like there's some dialogue that probably could have been cut out a little bit. Your friends clambered on in back. It definitely seemed the slightest bit squished back there.
Does that sound alright?
Welcome to my vehicle. I hope everyone is comfortable, and if someone could point me in the right direction, we can be on our way. Terry went back to navigator mode and outlined their journey. It was basically a straight line with one turn at the end into the parking lot. Baxter nodded from up in the driver's seat and pulled back into the road. Luckily, the street was still dead empty. Boothin, I have no idea who Josie Graceffa and Daniel Prada are. I have no idea who those two are. Kissing. Took no time at all for Baxter to park right next to Cove's car. There wasn't even enough time for a proper conversation to start. The occupants didn't seem to mind. There were smiles all around when Baxter parked next to Cove's car. Woo! Miranda clapped quietly as Terry cheered. Cove chuckled nervously. You smiled. You were glad to have reached your destination and pleased at the fanfare of your friends. You didn't say a word, but Terry and Miranda definitely caught your amusement. We've arrived. That was easy. Gay icons on YouTube. Terry flung open her door and climbed out.
Thanks.
Everyone else exited the car as well. The group thanked Baxter with various degrees of enthusiasm. Baxter himself got out too. Everyone congregated again in front of Baxter's and Cove's cars. Cove looked at the back of his and frowned. He'd finally discovered the wash mate you'd put on it. I wonder who did that. You snickered, along with Miranda, who realized you'd been caught.
Ooh.
It's a mystery. Right. Terry bounced over to Baxter and offered her hand for a handshake. He accepted it easily with a charming grin. You're a pal. You're too kind. It was no trouble whatsoever. I'll be keeping this car all summer. If it suits you, you're welcome to take my number and give me a ring whenever you're in need of another ride. And that goes for everyone here. I have a car. Terry busted into laughter and Miranda fidgeted. She did not know what to do with that. Baxter really went fast, didn't he? He noticed her discomfort and smiled with a soft tilt of the head. I'd be happy to help again, but that's the only reason I offered. If you don't need it, you can pass on it. Can I have your number? He beamed widely at your response.
Absolutely.
The sass. Cove is just weirdly uncomfortable around Baxter. Baxter wants Cove's Cove. I mean, I'm pretty sure he did admit to an attraction to Cove. Hey, anybody? Like, Baxter was, I'm pretty sure when Baxter and Cove first met, I'm pretty sure Baxter did hit on Cove. Hey, number one princess. This game is called Our Life, Beginnings and Always. It is a visual novel. Baxter pulled out a pen he had with him for some reason and jotted his number down. He passed the little paper to you and you accepted. When her giggles subsided, Terry put a hand to her chins with brows furrowed. I wonder, would that option be available right now? You could valet us somewhere cool.
What?
Cove was taken aback. He put a hand on the hood of his car. Weren't we going back to the neighborhood? Wasn't Baxter going back to the neighborhood too? Why would we go somewhere else? Because we can. Miranda squirmed nervously and then committed to piping up.
Maybe?
We could go to the park near my place? It's a really nice place to hang out. You and Cove shared a look. The big park was pretty nice. Let's do it! Baxter tapped the side of his face and thought.
It's doable.
That sounds doable. He glanced at Cove and then switched focus to you.
Well,
We have 2 cars. If some people want to go to the park, I could still take the others home. But if everyone's going, it wouldn't make sense for me not to. You wanted to continue the hangout session at the park. Of course. You weren't ready to tag out yet. You came to a decision and turned to Cove. Let's go to the park. Alright. Park time it is. He smiled a little. Terry cheered. Then Miranda Pop nodded happily. You felt like you had made a good decision.
Yeah.
To the car! Again! Which car? There are multiple. You watched to see if Cove or Baxter had an answer. Cove sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He tapped on his car's hood nervously.
I guess.
We can go in Baxter's, I guess. It'll be less of a pain than bringing both. We're all going to the same place. Are you okay with that, Baxter? Certainly. I meant what I said. When you need a lift, I can give it. Neither you nor Terry brought up any objections, and so the gang climbed back into Baxter's nice ride. This time, Baxter offered to turn on some music. After all, it would be a little bit of a drive to the park. Play what you normally would. Don't mind us. Yeah, I would like to see what kind of stuff a guy like you is into. I hope the playlist lives up to expectations. He plugged his phone into the car with an aux cord and turned on some alternative music. Ooh, alternative, nice. With the music taken care of, Baxter put the car in drive and pulled out of the parking lot. The lot was practically empty, but you noticed that he was careful anyways. During the trip, it changed to hard rock, punk, and even screamo. Despite his personal demeanor, he didn't seem to like upbeat tracks. It took a while to arrive. By the time you got there, the sky was golden with the orange streaks of sunset. Everyone got out of the car and started to stroll along one of the paths. You walked by the basketball court and some picnic tables, taking in the sights. Miranda seemed amazingly content, the location helping her relax in the company. She led the way, sometimes stopping here or there to point something out. Baxter turned to her and nodded along.
Not bad.
I've never been here, but I definitely see the appeal. Man, this is Randy's stomping ground. She's been coming here forever. Seriously, Miranda, have you ever had a birthday party that wasn't here? You've missed out, Baxter, because every year she has a blowout party at the park. Imagine balloons everywhere. Miranda looked down, suddenly shy again with the attention on her. She let out an awkward laugh. Yep, every year. Actually, my birthday is where I first started to really get to know Cove and Jamie. She smiled and then pointed to a wide flat spot on the grass. Remember the bounce house? I remember. He chuckled, and you could practically see those old memories on his face. It was a party for the ages. You were great. I miss parties like that. Everyone is too cool for bounce houses. The group followed Miranda along to one of the picnic tables. She took a seat, and Terry slid in beside her. You spent the evening chatting amongst each other. Everyone got to know Baxter a little better, although you could tell Cove and him still hadn't fully clicked. At one point, Miranda found an abandoned soccer ball and started tossing it around. To me! Miranda threw the ball to her. Terry caught it with a smile. Think fast! She chucked it at Baxter, who only had enough time to squeak. It bounced off his chest and he stared at it, dazed. He blinked as if he needed time to process what exactly happened, but then grinned dangerously. He rushed after the ball and, rather than throwing it back, he surprised Terry and everyone else by lobbing the ball high into the air. You bent your neck to watch its ascent and inevitable decline. Baxter hooked it with his foot and launched it up again. There were oohs and ahs from Terry and Miranda. Baxter gave them a very proper bow. When it finally fell to the ground for real, Cove was the one who picked it up. He was impressed, and he wanted in. With that, everyone was drawn into the game. It was unspoken that whoever did the fanciest trick won. Most of the gang was not particularly practiced with throwing a ball, so not many of the tricks were actually good. However, there was a lot of laughter, and you got to see Miranda pull off a round-off, where she threw the ball with her feet, so that was cool. You did pretty well with yourself, and got a fair amount of applause from the crowd with your moves. The sunset eventually darkened into night, and the streetlights turned on. Your group's chosen picnic table laid in a bubble of light. The occasional bug cast a shadow as they flew by. It's a little strange being here so late on a normal night. Usually that only happens if there was a party or an important game, or a fireworks show. Fireworks! Her yell startled Baxter, who was throwing the ball nonchalantly from hand to hand. He missed catching it and it sailed sadly back to the ground. You looked at Terry for her loud outburst. I just remembered, there's going to be a fireworks show tonight. It's in the city. At everyone's questioning looks, she huffed and tried to explain further. It's some celebration for the opening of something. I don't remember what. I don't think we could get into the actual event anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But we should still be able to see the show if we get close. You can't keep explosions in the sky away from the public. Cove raised an eyebrow and drummed his fingers on the table below him. You want to change locations again? Wasn't the last 2 times enough? Terry rolled her eyes and then shook her head. To her, it was obvious. Don't be a wet blanket, Cove. What about you, Jamie? Randy? Baxter? Don't you want to see fireworks? It's fireworks. We gotta go. I guess they are fireworks. Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? Yush! I knew this was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked at Baxter. As the driver, his answer made or broke the plan. He chuckled softly. In for a penny, in for a pound. I'll go.
Honestly.
Hey, Gia. Genuinely, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. We better hurry, or we might miss it. Cove rolled his eyes but laughed. Everyone headed back to the car yet again. Terry brought out her phone to navigate to the city, and Baxter stepped on the gas. You were on your way. It's like they're all gonna break the bed later. Baxter drove past buildings aglow in warm yellow light that cut through the navy black night. One office building had bright LED lights that cycled through a whole rainbow of hues. It was difficult to get through all the traffic on the road, let alone find parking this late at night. Luckily, Miranda had eagle eyes when it came to scoping out a spot. She pointed to a sedan pulling out, and Baxter parked within seconds. Not wanting to miss the show, you all raced down the waterfront walkway to find a place with a good view. What about here? Cove peered across the rails into the distance and shot her a thumbs up. It was relatively quiet, isolated, and you could see skyscrapers. That was a good sign based on where Terry thought the event was. Yes, this should work just fine. She stopped and tried to catch her breath, her hands on her knees. Miranda leaned against the wall establishments as she recovered. Cove took a moment to breathe as well, stretching his spine back. He looked up at the sky in wonder and let out a relieved sigh. Think we've missed anything?
No way.
Not a chance. Nothing's happening, and we can't be so late that we missed everything. Maybe it'll start soon. You felt excited. The spontaneity of the whole thing combined with the amazement of fireworks was recipe for you to be bursting with anticipation. It couldn't start soon enough. Hey there, girly girl. Come on up, girl. Come on up, girl. Come on up. Come on. Come on. You can just climb over here, Casey. There you go, Casey. And right back down. God damn it, Casey. No. Now you're going to spend a couple minutes up here. Anybody? My lap. I was slapping my lap. Hey, BB. I'm cut. Cove and Baxter all in? Well, no, I'm with I'm with Cove right now. Yeah. Here you go. You're getting pens whether you like it or not, Casey. Don't care if she wants the pettings or not. She's getting pettings. I decided to give her pettings, so she's getting them. I think she is enjoying them. I guess I am, Boozin'. I guess I am. Call it petual assault. Alright, bye. I petual assaulted her. Or petually assaulted. Petually assaulted her. No, you just jump down. I'm not picking you back up. You just jump down. If you don't want up, you're not coming back up. Jerk. I will pass on that, Habibi. Hey, Anunnaki. Terry led Miranda to sit down on the oval slabs along the path. Miranda took a seat and began tapping her knees together as she waited. Terry, meanwhile, crouched more than sat. Baxter smiled politely and looked from you to Cove. He seemed to be waiting for one of you to speak first, rather than wanting to directly start a conversation. Something seemed to strike Cove, as he tried unsuccessfully to hide a smile. We're all still in swimsuits. Wearing beachwear in the middle of the city, in the dark, while waiting for a fireworks show, was clearly the joke of the day for him. Cove snorted once and then looked back up at the sky. Hey, Fight Hate. But I'm not sure if this tops that one night you went around town with me and Mom dressed in my pajamas. You laughed too when you remembered the incident. It had been quite the escapade. That sounds like a story I'd be interested in hearing. Cove looked at him and then you, shaking his head slightly. That kind of is the story. There's not a lot else to say. You weren't entirely sure about that, but Cove wasn't ready to start reminiscing with Baxter.
So...
Well, I wish I'd gotten the memo of tonight's dress code. I could have suited myself to fit. He tugged on his shirt sleeve with a faint grin, going for humor. He definitely was overdressed when you compared him to the rest of you. It succeeded in making Cove smile. Sorry. A flash lit up the sky with a brilliant green. Your eyes flew off the building in the distance, and silently watched with bated breath. You heard a second boom, and a red firework lit up the night. That's fair, Jenna. Not something that I've ever I've never missed penises, but you know, that's totally fair, Jenna. Woo! The show's starting. It's so pretty! They came running over to get closer, positively beaming. Terry pressed herself to the waterfront fence, getting as close as physically possible without just going swimming again. It's fine, Jenna. It's fine. More fireworks went off, shooting out hundreds of tiny sparkling lights. The colors stood out starkly against the dark of the night. The biggest ones washed your surrounding with their hue, turning your world blue, then red, and then golden.
Welcome.
Did I deliver, or did I deliver? Miranda's eyes glittered, and she lightly bumped Terry with her hip. Good job. Terry stumbled at the friendly nudge, but was pleased with the compliment. She grinned back. Miranda lightly swung her hips the opposite way to give you a bump as well. It was friendly and soft.
Woo!
We did it! You smiled at her and nodded. You were glad that everyone seemed to be having a good time. Cove stared up to the sky with wonder, while Terry squealed in joy after a series of especially grand explosions. Miranda pointed to one that was shooting up and then gasped when it loomed and turned into a huge sphere of violent light. Baxter smiled in appreciation. It was good to see your friends in high spirit. The rest of the group huddled around the railing to take in the show as closely as possible. Miranda stood close by, Terry's hands gripped the top, Cove laid his arms across it while leaning forward, and Baxter rested his elbows on the rail, putting his back towards the fireworks. He seemed to have more fun watching the others than the actual show. Ooh! She pointed to a golden firework and beamed. Ah, that's so cool! Terry held up a hand for a high five, and Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Without giving Baxter a glance, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled, but wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong.
Hmm?
Is that your favorite color? Green?
That's...
It's one of them. I think that's nice. It matches you. And is yours black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. Next to Cove. You stood next to Cove. He's the boyfriend. Cove looked away from the fireworks and grinned at you. He was glad to be spending time with you, and tilted his head at a spectacular multicolored firework above. I think that's been my favorite so far. He shot you another look and nodded, wanting you to move up closer. In front of him, you could see the night's lights reflected on the water. You took a moment to watch him and the fireworks reflected in his eyes. Cove grinned like a kid. You leaned your head against Cove. You nestled yourself closer and rested your head on your boyfriend. If you listened closely, you could just make out the sound of his heartbeat. He hummed quietly and then lowered his own head down. It took a little readjustment, but soon you were both comfortable with each other. That was what I was planning, Comprek. If that was an option, I definitely would have done that. Your head rested on his right shoulder, and his neck tilted so that his cheek rested on the top of yours. He was warm and steady under you. Cove's gray gaze drifted from the show of dazzling lights straight at you, and he sighed dreamily. You didn't know when you'd last seen him so blissful. Let me kiss him! Dang it. The spectacle continued to up the ante by bringing more fireworks out at a time. The colors danced across the sky and reflected over the water. You reached out a hand and watched as it was tinted green while a big boom sounded. Fireworks were a normal summer tradition, but this was admittedly an unconventional approach. Fart on him. Earlier, I was in when I was laying in bed. When I was still laying in bed, Sam had come up beside me, like come up on my side, and I farted, and I think I startled him a little bit. Showing up in the city last minute to watch a display from a technically private event, that made this feel special in a way that just planning to go to a public fireworks show never would. Frank Zappa? Not someone I really listen to. Terry's idea may not have left you with a lot of time to prepare, but it sure led to a unique situation. It was clear this was an unforgettable night. As the finale sounded, blazing the sky with unbelievable beauty, you remembered thinking that there might never be a night exactly like this one again. Not for the rest of your life. Aww. You planned to hold on to the feelings you had in that moment for as long as you could. Aww. Ugh. I forget. When is the, Is that the end I do? Just about. April. Coachella? I would not go to Coachella, Anunnaki. There's almost no acts playing at Coachella this year that I'm interested in. Beyond that, Coachella is in the US. I'm not going to a big event in the US. Pregnancy arc? Probably not, Gia. But there is a wedding DLC. You can get married. Nah, boozing. I'm still tired these days, so. Expand my music. I mean, I try, Anunnaki. I try to find new music. More time with Cove and Baxter. Actually, as far as more time with Baxter goes, there's DLC dropping in like April or May, which I think here. Might actually be able to actually just might end up being able to stretch it out to be able to do the Baxter DLC. Colonel Sanders game. Of course, right around the same time the Baxter DLC drops, Star Trek Resurgence will be coming out. And that seems like it'd be a fun game to play on stream. On a side note, I like that Jenna and Comic Book are about to become friends off stream. Does this game have a paywall? Anunnaki, I mean, in the sense that you have to buy it. It's not a free game. Pay to win? No. It is not pay to win. There's no, yeah, no. One round of cooking, mama. Breaking the fourth wall. I'm glad to see my viewers becoming friends with each other. No hole reveal. Anywhere's there a set? There's set release date yet for Star Trek Resurgence? So I'm just looking to see if Star Trek Resurgence has a set release date yet. It's looking like no. Looking like still no set release dates. Saying April, but doesn't have the still available, coming soon. April. Blah. I want to know when it's coming out. I want to play that new Star Trek game. I want to play the new Star Trek game. Annoying. No. My streams always have the most interesting conversations, Comic Book. Some of the slices are a little wonky, but we still a whole pizza. Cute. I'm a gluten-free pizza. Nah, Miss Honeybuddy. That'll leave me on until like that'd make it like a 3.5 hour long. Yeah, it's longer than I feel like doing tonight. was curious if that Star Trek Resurgence was going to be on Steam yet. Not sure if it'll actually be available on Steam at all. Anywho's, I'm ready to end this stream here. I'll be back tomorrow for something. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. No idea. Pants check. No, honey bunny. So. Yeah, so thanks for coming. Jenna, if you have trouble finding comic books Twitter, then DM me and I will DM you comic books Twitter handle. So if you have trouble, just ask me and I'll point you to her. But for now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you all tomorrow.